Hello folks, this is Corey Babka from the Marks Group, just doing our monthly Salesforce tips and tricks webinar. Thanks for watching today. We're just going to go through a couple quick tips actually. The one is kind of a big powerhouse, so sorry, we usually do three, kind of combine this into a 1 and 2, and then I've got a third one that's completely different, dealing with reporting. These tips, of course, are based on our blog pages from the month before. So right now we're at the end of June. I'll be posting up new tips this week. Well, then the third week of July or the last week of July, we'll go through those step by step and go through those tips so you can see them on screen. Refer back to this video whenever you need to kind of go through those. So it's a little bit in tandem. We, of course, do this every month, and you can always get there to see what's going on if you go to marksgroup.net, marksgroup.net. We've got some resources on there, such as our blogs. We've also got our events that talks about the different tips and tricks webinars that we do, other seminars we might be doing if you're local in the area or just want to fly in and say hi. Okay, so just without further ado, wanted to kind of start out with, we're just going to start out with the optimizer. As you notice right now, I'm running in Classic Edition for Salesforce, which is fine. You can be doing that as well. I promise you, you're going to see me change over in the next couple months, and I'm going to start getting better and better at the Lightning Edition and start using that. I'm going to change my tips over and my webinars over to be the Lightning Edition. So here we go with the optimizer. So it's a feature in Salesforce. What I want to do is talk about the optimizer itself. It is a feature that allows you to see kind of like the health of your system, right? A lot of different pieces about permission sets, profiles, who's been accessing it. But I like things as well that are based on like, you know, your hard-coded URLs, if we're doing things like that, like what is happening with the system. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to Setup, and we're going to look for Optimizer, which as you can see, I didn't hit enter. I only start typing and I do it this way, and you get to the optimizer, okay? And that's what it is right there. Basically, to get it running, okay, all we have to do is go here, and we just have to go down and scroll a little bit down and say launch optimizer. Okay, we launch it. Now what happens is we allow the access, okay, and then that should be it. And so sit tight, we're evaluating, blah, 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 and got it. Okay, you can also see it from our files. So this is the one thing that we're going to be looking for. I'll actually pull up last month so you can see this to kind of give us in the scope of time for our webinar today. But what you end up with is something in the files area. So I got it. I'm going to scroll up now and go to my files. And let's see if we got it here. I will look for my recently viewed. Let's see here, all files. Optimizer report. So here it is. Here's my one that I ran on 5/31. It is a PDF, okay, and I can open this up and see it right here. I want to make sure that you're actually seeing this when I open this up. I'm going to actually open up the file itself, okay. View file, original file reports. That's not what I want. I want to actually look at the file itself. So let's open this bad boy up. Well, that's not what we want. That's full screen mode, but we'll do it this way, okay? So if I just want to make sure that you're seeing it, which you are. So if I do this here, this is just my PDF. I'm going to move my webinar, my go-to webinar guy. He's causing me issues right now, sorry. And if I do this and I just kind of page down, it's basically, it just shows me what I want to see for our reports, okay? So you see a lot of different things here, like unused reports, which I can go there and look at it, like what's not being used. I'm going to shrink it in a little bit. See if I go here and say unused reports. Where does it go? See, I want to see the actual download of this PDF. Let's look at this PDF. There's the PDF. That's what I wanted to say. Sorry about that. So if I go down here and I look at my page, I'm looking at this, and I say unused reports, this will actually go to that spot. You can actually see it. It actually goes back. Here's my table of contents, so I can actually look through this and see what's not there. We've got sample reports, you know, on there. Maybe we want to delete them up. Unused dashboards. See, the goal is, let's go back to the table of contents. The goal is to get things that say good, right? Here's my file storage limits right here. On my implementations using less than 70%, so I'm good. So what you want to look for is all these green ideas, okay? The green warning labels that say you're okay. The one that I know my developer, she looks at a lot of this stuff many times, is there's something there like custom code, Apex triggers, API versions. What is there something that's incorrect or not right? There's another one that I had in here that was like hard-coded URLs. That was the one as well that I know we might look at here and there. You've got field limits, field usage, right? If I go here, 4 objects contain several fields that users complete less than 10% of the time. So that tells me that I've got 14 fields on the account that people are not filling in, and we really need to kind of get that there. If I click View Data in Appendix, then I can go here in the account, and this will tell me what's not being filled in. There's 14 unused fields. All these are not being filled in correctly, and they need to be. So again, this is a really powerful tool to use within your system that allows you to kind of see the health, the knowledge behind who's using it, how they're using it. Okay? If I go back up, there's one here that I had that was like custom code user management, like user logins. Okay? How many users, how often users log in? One user hasn't logged in a while. Well, that's not really me. That's not true. I can go to the view data and see it, but it's the chatter expert. That's who hasn't logged in. Okay, good to know, right? So, but you may see other people in here that kind of puts them up on blast to say, you're not there anymore, okay, or you're not logging in enough. That kind of maintenance without having to create a lot of different reports, which they do have for user logins. But this is one of those things that I think could be good to run maybe once a quarter and see if there's any of those big red files that tells you, what it is, those red warnings. And I think where you could use this most is if you look at this and you get those emails from Salesforce saying, we're removing this, or this is going to be sunsetted, or we're no longer going to support this and this and this. And a lot of times my clients will send me an email and say, what does this mean? And it doesn't make sense to me, and what is this? And so if that's the case, I need to kind of look at this with them, go over the optimizer, see what's out there, and we go from there. But this will give you a lot of insight into those warnings and what you need to be aware of. Okay? So again, I know there's not a lot in here. It's, again, back to optimizer. You run it, you get this report. They'll email me as well. Like if I go to my email right now, I probably have this file as a PDF, and that's what I've got, which is fine. And I'd say run it once a quarter. Make sure that there's nothing shocking in there. Share it with management. The fields are not being filled in. What do we do? Do we do require rules? Do we do validation rules? Do we do dependent field, pick lists and dependent require? All these different, do we use workflows to fill in those fields instead? So there's a lot of work that can be done that this optimizer can bring to light. Okay? All right. So moving on. So the next one is more of a completely different tune of things. It is the ability to, I bring this one up here, this is my test opportunity. I'm going to bring in the ability to embed a chart. Now, as I said in the tip, this is an old one, okay? You can put, we all know reports and dashboards. We talked about this many, many times before. But one of these is, and this was written by probably a couple years back by either myself or one of my consultants, and it's the ability to put a chart within an actual opportunity or an account, so you don't have to run a report constantly. You can just see it right on the screen. What I'm going to do is I'm going to embed a chart. Okay, so if we look at my blog tip, right, we're looking at, so for instance, I have in my example an opportunity. It shows me the latest data about the account, right, without leaving the opportunity. So in here, I'm doing an opportunity, but I want to see some information about ABC Company. So I don't have to leave the record and go see what they've got. And it might be what products they have. So what I'm going to do here is we're just going to pick the report that we want to do. And the report that's in question is actually going to be, I think it's products by code. That's what I'm looking for. And this is my products by code, right? Consulting, DIS, whatever they are, right? Now the thing is this is across the board. This is all opportunities, so on and so forth, right? What we're going to do is we're going to be a little bit different. Okay, we're going to put it in there for that particular opportunity. Okay, so if I I run this, I say open, close date is custom. I'm going to say current fiscal year. right? We've got all these different things here, and we've got this, right? But I do have to have a chart first. Like you have to do it, and you can see some of my earlier posts of how to create a chart. The real easy way to do it is you customize it, and you just add a chart. You just make sure that when you're working with this, you do a, we can delete the chart, right? But then I could click the button to add a chart. It'll ask you what do you want to do, so on and so forth. I'm going to cancel out of that, close out of that, and not save it. Okay, so I'm back to my report, products by code. And that's the one we're looking for, okay? So we've got, what it is in my products area, there is a consulting, that's the code itself. You know, I can see what opportunities are involved. And it's just more like you could do products by family, something along those lines, right? Okay, so in my case here, what I'm going to do, let me just silence my phone so we don't get interrupted. What I'm going to do here, so we pick our report, we got to make sure I create a report products by code which shows a chart per opportunity of dollar breakdown. Is what it is, right? Right happen here, I have all opportunities. We're going to go back, and just to test this, it could be that we're only looking at, let's do a drill down. I want to actually see the details. Show details, we see the different opportunities. Okay, and that's what they are there. That's fine. Okay. Now let's go back to our opportunity view, right? And we're going to go to our opportunity record. I'm going to actually, there's two ways of doing this. Okay, one is we can just do edit layout, you know, which gets us to the layout, or I can do setup and go to opportunities, and I can do, you know, layouts, right? Page layouts. Okay. I usually do it from the object, to be honest, because it's just much faster for me to get here. But I get here just right here, okay, and here it is. All right. I'm going to edit the page layout, and then we're going to go to report charts. Somewhere we're all used to being in here for fields and buttons, maybe certain other things, but I want to go to report charts. And there it is. There's a report that could be used because it is an opportunity. Now, little caveat here, that opportunity, that chart, that report / chart that is out there needs to be visible by all users. It has to be in a shared folder. Everyone needs to be able to access it, or they're not going to be able to see it on the form. Okay? So I have that there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll down a little bit, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this report and I'm going to drag it and put it into, let's put it right here. Other information. Okay? Now the chart, it says it's actually filtered by the opportunity ID. What does that mean? That means that I'm only going to see that report for this particular opportunity. Okay? Now you could do change its filters, you know, filter by opportunity ID. You could also do something else, right? Right? We could probably do maybe account ID if we wanted to make sure that it actually was just for that particular account. And it might show all across their products instead. You might be able to do that, okay? And if I do that here, this just happens to be an opportunity one, right? An opportunity report. You could play around with this, maybe create an account report, see if you can fit it in here. I haven't done that before, but I know that what you're going to see here is going to help, okay? And then I do this. I do my reports. I do my name of the report, drag it, customize it. That's my wrench icon if I want to do that. Again, that's the properties. Okay, I could refresh each time. I could do medium or large, right? I could do the title. And I say, okay, hide a chart with an error. That's fine too, in case it errors out, you don't see it. And then I've got my report. Okay, let me bring it in there. At that point, basically we're going to hit save. And now we're looking at ABC. Let's go back to my opportunities, ABC company, and now in here, there's my products. And if you notice, if we looked at that main report, you could see it, that it was actually, it was like $1,500, where here we're down to $150. That's where it's very different. Now this is written out by the products, there's $150 and $175, but it gives kind of a real quick snapshot of what the two products are. Now, like I said, we could change this. We could say existing products that they already have, maybe another record or a sales order item or something along those lines that would tell us so that when we're doing an opportunity, maybe what their needs are. You can get really creative, but it's a matter of seeing and have that visibility when I'm on this record without having to go. I mean, everyone likes a good bar chart, right? It kind of gives it a good perspective of what we're going on here instead of going all the way down and looking at these products. let's say I had multiple lines for consulting, you know, and there was 8 to 10 lines, well, they would group it over by code, and I would see the bulk here as to where we're going to be making our money. So it's a nice to have. You can get very creative with the different types of reports, the different types of charts, multiple column bar charts. You could do a graph, a pie chart, whatever you want to do here, but to get it in here into the form, it's just a really nice way of doing it. Now, truthfully, last time when I was doing this, I didn't look at Lightning to see what it would look like, but let's go ahead and go there. So if I go to my opportunities, I go to my recently viewed, see what it looks like here. I've got my log, call, new task, etc. I'm going to go details. I want to see if I see, there's my chart. So it does show up. It shows up still in the additional information. Okay, you can move it down here, so it is there. I don't know if I dig where it is, like chatter. You know, I usually do a lot of stuff with my activities, next steps, past activities, you know, and this and that. But it is in the details area. It's considered part of the upper half of the screen or the upper header, and that's what we're looking at there. Okay, so that's it for now. It was, like I said, it was kind of a quick tip day. I hope to have a little bit more. Next month we're going into the workbench and maybe a couple others that I'm still deciding on what we're going to do here. I'm going to try and do some stuff with Lightning so we get a little bit more into there and how we're working with it. Okay? So thank you, folks. Thanks for attending, watching, and enjoy the rest of your day. All right, take care.